Hello viewers, Super GT here. I'm at sunny Wilton Mill. We're going to be driving the LN Kart today. Let's go and take a look at it.
Camera goes in.
Yeah, we're back in senior road tax again. I need to get up to speed. It's been 6 months since I was in the kart. Yep, so here we are at sunny old Wilton Mill. It's my first time out in a senior road tax in 2022, and my first time out since October actually, the last round of the UKC, so a fair amount of time away from the kart, and it's always good to get back into the seats and get back into the groove of things. And of course, the first thing you can see is the weather we have to contend with here, and maybe that makes it a bit easier. Physically, these karts are very demanding, and I felt like actually maybe a wet day would help me get back into the swing of things physically, because it's not as demanding in the rain. Here we are in the LN Kart, kart spinning off there in front of us, and immediately it feels very comfortable. Guys at Dan Holland Racing, the team I run with, get in the kart, seat position, the steering wheel position, everything pretty much bang on. And if anything, it feels more comfortable than what I had last year when I was using the EOS kart. So no worries there as it stands. The main worry really is just getting absolutely soaked. And there was a fair amount of traffic on this day. So this is a Wednesday practice session, and pretty much anyone can turn up. I'm in the senior category here, but we have pro karts out on the track as well, which are two of the karts I just went past there. Because there was a BPEC round later that week, and they are on slick tyres, so there was a fair amount of traffic to try to navigate. As I said, this day was really just about getting back up to speed, getting back into the swing of things, and they're just grinding on the inside of the curb. And we saw a recent Gran Turismo video where actually you're grinding on the inside of curbs, and it's actually a real thing, as you'll see in a moment. I was only out there for a few minutes, but it felt really good actually. Felt really confident, just felt comfortable. So they remembered all my seat position and everything. So the kart felt immediately nice. We'll make a couple of changes over the course of the day, but a really good start.
Steve, what is the purpose of a day like today?
Yeah, get back up to speed. I've not been in a kart for 6 months. Drive the LN Kart for the first time. Our boss Lando released the kart earlier this year, so it's good to get out in it.
And then in terms of the prep, what are you looking to change on the kart?
Well, to be fair, that felt alright. I was thinking we might have to make some adjustments, but in terms of the comfort, it felt right. Alright, session 2. First one felt good, so we're going to go out again, judge the conditions, and not crash. Well, it didn't actually take too long for me to not crash. Coming into the Christmas corner, and boom, look at this. I was just mentioning about the curb and getting the inside wheel hooked on the inside, and it happened there. You're normally aiming for this, but on this occasion I got it just a little bit wrong, and if anything it pulled me around too much. And this session was kind of punctuated by a couple of incidents. So we had that spin up at Christmas. Then there was this one here, this moment, just going in a little bit hot. Actually, no, it wasn't that moment there. That was fine. It was this lap here, and trying some different lines there, going narrow. On the lap before, I was going wide, which tends to be the better line. But here, just going in way too hot on the white line, and boom, you're on the grass before you know it. So we're really just trying to drive on the limit, find the limit, and just get up to speed nice and gently. And as you can see, look at this beautiful British weather, really quintessential Wilton Mill weather. Trying to get onto that curb a bit nicer there. Actually didn't hook up the inside wheel, but still not too far away. coming down the hill. This is the better line. Just brake off of the rubber, move back to the outside to get a better turning angle, and then you get a better run on the exit of the corner. So there's multiple lines you can really take around a lot of these turns. You go deep and then cut back, or you go very narrow and then take a short distance line. So there's a couple of options available. Coming up towards the end of the lap, a couple of karts here to try to navigate. Going to go up to the inside, get on this curb. Yes, we can. And there's a little drag race to the final corner with this other kart. Up the inside we go. So here's one of the pro karts. We can easily out-drag them because they're on slick tyres. That is the rules of their championship. The BPEC championship, they have to run slick tyres even if it's wet. So we can quite easily out-drag those karts, we know that. How about this one up into Christmas Corner? I'm going to try an alternative line here, go deep, cut back, get a better drive off the turn, and then we get some more momentum on the way out. And get that overtake done. Sliding down the hill, but eventually bring the car in. Kart felt good there. Pretty happy with how that went. And before you know it, you're out again for another session. And plenty more traffic, plenty more getting soaked. Physically, I feel fine. And just getting back up into the swing of things. You see there, getting the inside wheel over that curb. We found ourselves in a little battle here with number 444. Looking around the outside, not quite going to go for it there. I suppose just remembering what happened on the previous session going wide. Go up the inside here, but you go in that narrow and you don't get a very good exit. You see there, he gets the old switcheroo on me on the exit, gets the move done. So it's actually quite good to get in and amongst the other karts. Just experiment with different lines. Here it's going to go up the inside and then take the pair of them. It's the final corner, go narrow, and you see that line actually works, but it's quite tricky to get dead right. So you have to go very deep, or like I said, go very narrow. So it's always good in these practice sessions to try out both and see which one's working. Here's one you shouldn't try, and that's the grass line. And I would say that lost me a good couple of seconds and got a load of mud all over my wetsuit, which is not ideal. A couple of other hairy moments here going past some of the other karts. But eventually the third session was over, so we brought the car back in. So many of you have been asking, am I going to be karting this year? Well, obviously I am, because I'm karting right now. But throughout the year I will be karting, I will be car racing as well, so a bit of both.
So Steve, no wetsuit, but still wet tyres.
No wetsuit, probably going to be a really stupid decision, but they're taking the wets off.
What's current, Steve?
It's just standard wheel to mill where you don't know what tyres to go on, ever. Okay, so by the 5th session of the day, it was dry enough that we can go out on slick tyres. Now, you notice there are still damp patches on the circuit, and this is one of my primary weaknesses, I suppose, driving in sort of these weird mixed conditions. For those of you who watched last year's UKC video around Wilton Mill. And this was good because one of the things I want to do before the season starts is build up my fitness, and in the rain you don't really build your fitness because it's not that fast, but in the dry you can you're going to go subject yourself to more G-force, if you like, as you're going quite a lot quicker, and you can see the difference in speed here compared to the rain. And therefore we're going to build our neck up a little bit, build up our upper body. Wilton Mill is very bumpy, and I don't think the GoPro does it justice how bumpy this track is, especially riding a lot of the curbs. But naturally the surface of the track is bumpy, and that does take it out of you when you're driving at speed. The car in front has a big moment there, it goes very wide, and fairly reminiscent of my crash last year, but luckily didn't actually make contact with barrier, which is always great to see. So you can see here the difference in speed. The kart's a lot quicker in the dry. It feels good to be driving the kart in the slicks, in the dry weather. I had my own special moment here, carrying a lot of speed, and I just really got really got a big moment through turn 1 and just got on the brakes. We all know what happens when you get it wrong through here. So yeah, I was quite happy to not repeat that incident. But I was really happy with the pace here. You see they're just getting nicely through turn 1 and 2. Looking for the late braking into Christmas corner. Hitting the apex quite nicely, and the kart felt good in the wet. It also feels really solid in the dry. So I was kind of expecting the whole day to be about like changing the kart, making it more comfortable and slowly getting up to speed. But I felt like I was instantly comfortable. I felt like my pace was pretty much there quite quickly. So ultimately, fairly happy, feeling confident about getting late on the brakes. And that's one of the things I was getting slightly better at towards the end of last year. And fairly consistent couple of sessions here. Through turn 1, a little bit wide there. And you see there's still some damp patches laying about. A bit more traffic at this point here. So going to go up the inside of 2 drivers here. But then here, the rain came back, and as you can see, I found out the hard way by going flying off the track. Luckily not into the wall. But this is actually really fun conditions, and it's something that doesn't really come up all that much in owner-driver racing, where you have wet tyres. So driving on slick tyres in the rain, it just doesn't really happen all that much. But I'm quite used to it from my Club 100 days. And I felt like, you know, rather than go in and just box the cart, thought, you know what, let's continue, have a little bit of fun here, try and push the limits of the track. very, very far right to the ragged edge there. But eventually the session was over and the fun was over.
No wetsuit. Great shout, mate.
Good timing, I think, just about. It was a really good day, actually. Full range of weather. Testing the LN Kart. Felt comfortable instantly. Just felt really good. It's just good to get back in a kart again. I need to get back in. It's been 6.5 months. So we'll do more. We'll do more. Next week I think I'll be back. Hopefully be a bit drier. Okay, so what you've just seen in the video, that was last week. Today it should be dry for the most of the day, which means I can get my neck a bit stronger. Yep, so we arrive at the track 1 week later, and thankfully this time it is a dry day. No rain forecast for the entirety of the sessions we're going to take part in here, and that's good news. Because before any season really begins, you want to do as many practice laps as possible to get back into the groove, to build up your fitness, and really if you're not putting in enough practice laps, it's very difficult to be at the top of your game. Therefore, it was a good idea to do at least a couple of practice days before my season started. Now you can see the difference here between this day and the previous day, the dry session at least. There's a lot more speed available on the circuit, carrying much more speed into the corners, through the corners, on the brakes a lot later. So the grip was a lot higher and it was immediately noticeable. This lap time here was only 46.9, and that's still about 2 seconds off my personal best of a 44.8. So there's a lot more time available in the track once it rubbers in. And over the course of the day it would get quicker and quicker. So that's something that we would have to adjust to throughout the course of the day. Alright, first session. Neck felt fine. I was thinking that my neck was going to die there, but did a good, 15 minutes I think, and feels fine. Kart felt good. We're using X30 tyres on the senior Rotax. It's a lot less grippy, and it's something I have to get used to before I race next week. 46.9 I think there. But there's definitely more time in the track, so let's go and do another session. So yes, the tyres we're using here are a bit different. There's a shortage of Mojo tyres, which are normally the tyres that we use on Rotax karts. So we're using Comet tyres, which is what they use on X30s. And the main difference I think for me is certainly on the first opening laps, there's a lot less grip. They take longer to warm up. So that's one thing you have to contend with. And I think overall there's just, the grip is different. I was trying to get this corner, the braking into Christmas corner right. You can see they're just getting more and more confident on the brakes and carrying more and more speed in. And it's almost like the later you brake, the harder you go in, the more grip you get. So you really do have to work the front end of the kart very hard to make the grip. and through the mid sector as well. It's just like the grip was just increasing and increasing every lap, and this was my fastest session of the whole day. I was looking at my dash, and every lap it tells you your lap time, and it was going quicker and quicker all the time. Previous session was a 46.9. I was down well into the 45s by this point, and maybe about mid 45. And I felt like that's about where I'd get to, but I kept getting quicker and quicker. There are a couple of laps here, for example, where I had some traffic, as you can see, and that does slow you down slightly, as we're going to try and pick our way through in the mid sector here. It's number 52. Too far to go for a move here. There's a bit of traffic here. Number 3 slowing down. Then eventually get past the pair of them. He lets me through actually. And what I'm about to show you is my fastest lap of the day, which is a 45.19. And I'll let you listen to it in its entirety. Just look out for the increased the grip basically, and how late I can brake. Yeah, down to 45.1 I think.
Yeah, that's really good.
Down to 45.1. It's about 3 tenths off my best ever lap round Wilton. So that's pretty good on old tyres. We're in a good place because these tyres are about 4 billion years old, I think. Yeah, this time last year, like second time out in the car, I'd be in the shadow realm. This year, I feel like my fitness is 90% as good as it was, which is very good. 90% is pretty cool, but it's better if it was 100%, maybe more than 100%. It'd be ideal if my fitness was better than it was last year. So I did more laps, more sessions, back out again, and I was really tiring myself out because I must have been out on the track for about an hour and a half by this point, so quite a lot of track time, and eventually it was time to... Bit slower there, 45.5. Bit too much grip, as weird as that sounds, but yeah, the track's changing every session. My neck is going, it's on the ropes. I reckon I might have 10 more laps in me before. Box's lap for a new neck, Lewis. So I went out for one final session, and I think how shaky this camera is kind of represents how shaky my neck felt, as I was pretty much on the brink. And I didn't quite last the 10 minutes I thought I would. It was more like 7, but I thought I'd bring it in and let everyone know how I felt. I'm done. All right, end of the day. Neck is ruined. Really good session. The kart felt really good. Really good couple of days there. Feeling ready for racing. But yeah, LN Kart, loved it. Feel comfortable. Amazing stuff. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.